tal mi gente? ¿Qué tal mi raza? Una vez más, bienvenidos a esto que es ¿Qué pasa? Aquí en www.radiolatinotv.com. Como siempre, yo soy su amigo de siempre, yo soy Fernando Zapari, aquí en los estudios de radiolatinotv.com, con mi buen amigo Daniel Geo, Tim Sink, Raúl Rodríguez, and we have such a special guest with us this morning, our good friend, Michael. Michael, welcome, bienvenido. And Michael is Daniel, please.
Michael Floyd.
Michael Floyd, I'm sorry.
Great to be on the show. Thank you, Michael.
Gentlemen. Good to be here.
Windsong Pictures, founder, director of many films. And we have a world premiere coming out this weekend, the film festival at IPFW. And Michael, I'm turning it back to Fernando.
Thank you so much. My mind just went blank, Michael. You know, I always say we make so many mistakes. That's not my first mistake.
I thought my mind was the only one that went blank.
Yeah, Mr. Floyd, again, congratulations for all you do and all you've been doing.
Thank you.
Since 1975. Michael, tell us about the 13th Annual International Windsong Film Fest at IPFW. And last night was the first night. What went on last night and what's going on all this week?
Last night was the kickoff. It was the international night. We had two international films. One was Russian and one was in Belize. And we had the director, Stephen Toriano Berry, there, who is a film professor and motion picture director from Howard University in Washington, D.C. And so tonight we have the world premiere of Walking With Us, which is an exciting film. It's a film about 6 angels who are working in the lives of people in a very powerful way. And we have a very diversified international cast from 4 different continents in that film. And so we're really excited about presenting this to the audience tonight.
And that's tonight at 7 p.m.? Is that correct?
That's right. Just tonight at IPFW University and the F Hall Theater. And there are signs on campus that kind of help direct people to where to go.
What's the cost to attend or do you tonight?
The cost to attend, it's going to cost you a smile to walk in the door.
All right.
Yeah, we can
handle that.
Last year I remember I had an elderly lady call me and she said, well, what does it cost to get in there? And I said, well, ma'am, it's going to cost you a smile to get in. She said, well, I smile really good. My husband doesn't smile so good, but I'm going to work on it. I said, that's good.
That's an awesome answer. Michael, Walking With Us. It's a story about, tell us a little bit more about Walking With
The
Us.
story?
Mm-hmm, please.
The storyline is broken down into 11 different scenes. And the thread that runs through the whole thing is that God sends his messengers, these angels, these emissaries of compassion, care, and love. And they're working with people who need some help, a little assistance getting through some of the rough kinks in life. And so some of the people they run into are children, and these children are either runaways or they're bullied or they've been abandoned or abused. Some have actually lived in war-torn countries and that sort of thing. Other people that they run into, the angels walk with people who have been locked in poverty or humbled by homelessness. They face life-threatening illnesses. And some of the stories we got from people who've had experiences with angels working in their life. Like one of them, for example, was a woman who was suffering from cancer, and she had passed over. She was seeing this tunnel of light, as we've heard people talk before. And an angel came by her side and said, you've been a good and faithful servant, and God wants you to go back on earth and be there for a while longer to continue to do your good work. And she was healed. So there are wonderful, heartwarming stories throughout this film. Some of the stuff is just really plain funny, too. We got some really serious stuff when we deal with homeless people and people suffering some really hard times. But we also have some stuff that is really very funny, because you've got to break up some of that serious stuff with funny stuff. We have a young lady who was interviewed on your program a couple of weeks ago, Veronica Marino, very gifted and talented actress. And she plays the part of someone who is undocumented. And she's concerned about wanting to stay in this country, wanting to, go to college. She loves the country. How does all this stuff work work out for her. We have another young man, Jared Palacios, and he was on your program a couple of weeks as well ago, and he wants to be a model. His character wants to be a model, and things are just all against him. You know, the cards are not right. They're stacked against him, and somehow he just really, really wants to do this. He doesn't see any way that it's going to be possible. Angels come into his life. They assist him. There are some bad guys on the street. There are some gangbangers and some drug dealers. And I think, as I told you once before, having bad guys in the movie makes the good guys look a whole lot better. And so we kind of approach some of their problems and difficulties too.
Michael, Daniel here. When Stephen Manning, your secretary of your board there at Windsong, was here on the show, he said the films are entertaining, humorous, and serious. How do you combine all that to make a moving film that touches people?
Well, even if you go back into the 16th century and look at William Shakespeare, he wrote some pretty heavy-duty tragedies, you know.
Yes.
But he had this character Falstaff that provided a little humor. So at times, you know, for somebody to be serious for 90 minutes, actually the film is 100 minutes long, it would be pretty tough. So we've got some humor that's kind of interspersed throughout. There are situations that are funny, and so we deal with that as well. For example, one of the young men is homeless, and what happened was his father was out of work. They had nowhere to live, and so they found an abandoned house, and they got in this abandoned house, and they were living there. And the police catch up with them. They throw the father in jail, and the mother dies of pneumonia from exposure on the street. Well, there's an angel who is very, very funny. And so the young man who's living on the streets by himself, by the way, he was hit by a car and he's paralyzed. And the angel's very funny, and his humor helps to lift the hope and the spirits of the young man who's been living on the streets. So we use humor in that fashion. Stephen Manning plays a character. He's one of these private investigators who's helping to find some runaway kids, and they are just totally, he and his partner are total bungling fools. He can't seem to make anything right, but it's the angels who help them find out where these kids are, get them rescued, get them back home. So there are ways in which we can use humor in the process, and yet dealing with some very serious kind of subject matter.
Again, Michael, I cannot thank you enough for all you do for the people of Fort Wayne. This is the 13th Annual International Windsong Film Festival. Besides walking with us, what's going on this weekend at the NAFTA Hall there in IPFW?
A couple of things. For one, we have a workshop on Saturday morning from 10 until 12, and it's called How to Make a Movie. It's a really fun and compact session in which we cover a whole lot of material about how movies are made. Is it everything you need to know to make a movie? No, but it's 2 hours of some fun, and you learn a ton of stuff. And the price is right. It doesn't cost anything to get in. We'll give you some materials to walk away with as well. The other thing that we have going is that we have a feature film that we're releasing, and it's called Alaska: The Last Frontier Part 2. Part 2 means there was a Part 1. We came out with Part 1 last year. And it's a very powerful film. We learned about Native Indigenous people of Alaska, the challenges that they have, about climate change, some really powerful stories that take place up in Alaska, things that people probably have never heard of or never seen. And if you'd love to go to Alaska but you can't get there because it's very expensive, well, this is a good place to go because you come here for 90 minutes to take a look at it and learn a lot about Alaska and see some wildlife, beautiful mountains, and a tremendous experience with that. The price is right. There's no charge to get in. One other thing we offer is that some people like to get involved with Windsong Pictures. They like to say, well, how do we get involved? How do we get to make a movie? Can I be in front of the camera? Can I work behind the camera? The answer is yes to all those. And if you come out to the film festival, we have some forms. It's called the talent form, and you give us basic information like name, address, phone number, things like that. And then we can help you to get started in our motion picture business. And we have several films we're going to shoot in 2012. There's a sign-up, and people can get engaged and involved with that whole process as well.
Michael, Daniel again. For the Hispanic community, I understand Walking With Us, which also will be shown again, 2:30, I believe, on Sunday.
Right,
Is that
7 o'clock tonight and 7 o'clock on Saturday, and then about 2:30 on Sunday.
Okay, so 3 times. I understand there's a good number of Hispanics from the community, and our audience would be interested in hearing about that in the film. Mm-hmm.
There are 52 people. Yeah. We have one of the angels is Stephen Salinas, who, of course, is Hispanic. And then we have some other key characters, like I mentioned, Veronica and Jair, and Miriam Medinas, and several key actors in the film. And then we needed additional people. We needed children. We needed adults. There's a scene where people are coming out of St. Mary's Church. And so we needed extras. And so Veronica, Miriam, Jair, and other people just got folks to come, and that's how we got so many.
Michael, tomorrow is also the Windsong Gala Award Ceremony.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that, please. That's at 4:30 p.m.?
That's at 6 o'clock.
That's 6 o'clock.
Anybody's welcome to come to it, but the ceremony is really meant for us to recognize and honor the children, the students. This would be preschoolers, elementary kids, middle school, high school, and college-age students who have been working on our films. Now, we have people of all ages in the film. Our oldest person in the film this year is 83. So, but we take time to recognize and honor our young people for the tremendous job that they do with the movies that we make, with the food drive campaign that we work, with the parades that we do, all the social action things that we do. We entertain over 6,400 kids at the Johnny MC Festival, for example. We do all kinds of things during the course of the year. So we're going to honor and recognize these kids for what they do for us.
Well, again, thank you. I'm going to go back to the last frontier, shot in Alaska. Tell us about the producer, the best cameraman in the world. Tell us a little bit about him.
The best cameraman in the world?
Yes. We hear about him, but tell us a little more about the history of the best
I'm not the
cameraman.
only cameraman. We had other
Okay,
people.
I
I can
the
tell you
best
a
crew.
story that I had. We were in Katmai National Park.
Uh-huh.
To get there, you have to fly in on a float plane. And so we're out there with a bear guide, and the bear guide is a woman who's been doing this for 20 years, and she's all of about 5 feet 3 inches tall.
Wow.
And very trim. And we're out there with no less than 100 grizzly bears.
Wow.
All around. All around. And
What an experience.
some of these bears are very, very close to us. And now in 20 years of leading people out there, she always carries bear pepper spray. In 20 years, she's never used a bear pepper spray. I've been around a lot of bears before. I've been with other bear guys. I've never seen anybody like this. She's phenomenal. And there was one big boar that's a male that was coming right at us. And he probably weighed about 1,200 pounds.
Wow.
Coming right at us. And he's just lumbering at us. And she stops. She claps her hands 3 times. The bear turns 180 and runs the exact opposite way, just by her clapping her hands.
All her
Lady knows what she's doing.
5 feet 3 inches
I got
tall.
scared or nervous, and I said, well, I've got a camera in my hand. I said, if I'm going down, I'm going to get a good shot doing it.
Oh my goodness. Again, Michael, you've done so much. 1975, we're going to go back, Michael,
Okay.
to 1975. How many years is that? 37 years? Why the idea? Yeah, 37 years. How and why the idea of creating Windsong Pictures, Windsong Pictures, excuse me.
As a child, even starting at age 5, I had been involved in drama, stage plays. And when I was 5, my family took us to see a movie. And back in those days, you didn't go see movies very often. And it was so long ago that we didn't have television. Daniel remembers those days.
Yes, I do.
We're the same age. But at any rate, I saw a movie, and it was about Hopalong Cassidy.
Oh.
And he became my childhood hero. So all the kids in the neighborhood, we were reenacting that movie for about the next 3 days. At age 5, I'm doing this. And so I was really enamored with motion picture business from that time. And I was teaching in northern Michigan then, in a place called Rogers City High School. And there was a student I worked with pretty intensely. We started a newspaper up there. I was in the newspaper business for 11 years, so I can identify with you guys. I also did radio, also did television, so we're on the same page here. And so we was talking about, making a movie. So 1975, we decided this is it. So we bought a football camera. On Friday nights they'll take the football game. Actually, it was an 8mm camera at that time. And so it was black and white. There was no audio. So we did this sort of Snidely Whiplash thing where the bad guy kidnaps the girl, and the good guy is chasing after her, and the bad guy ties her down to the railroad tracks and all this stuff. The good guy rescues her. And for audio, we used a reel-to-reel tape recorder, and somebody had to keep their finger on that reel-to-reel tape recorder to speed it up or slow it down depending on the current barometric pressure at the time. And so Rogers City is a town of about 5,000 people. Most of the people in town came out to see it. We charged 25 cents a head to get in. We made a little money. We started with some equipment, and we've been running ever since.
Wow. Tell us about the scholarships and the way or the role if I'm not mistaken, your mother plays in these scholarships for the kids.
My mother was a teacher, and she was Windsong Pictures' #1 fan. And she battled breast cancer for nearly 20 years. And about 3 years ago, she passed away. And when she did, I come up with a big Catholic family, and as Daniel knows, and we got together and saying, well, what can we do in Mom's memory? And the family said, well, we should create a scholarship fund in her name. And so that's what happened. And I have a brother-in-law who is very, very good at creating kinds of things. And he established a number of things. For example, there is a tennis grip that he developed. And this is for sale. And those funds do two things. The tennis grip is white, and it's got the pink breast cancer ribbon on it. Mm-hmm. And so those are being sold, and part of the funds go to support breast cancer research, and the other part of the funds go to the scholarship fund that we have. And that's just a really, really cool thing. And it's been quite helpful. And so what happens is that students who work tons of hours, I mean, minimally they'll put in 1,000 hours a year. They receive scholarships. Say, 1,000 hours? Yeah, that's a whole lot. They're doing what they love to do.
That's right.
Without what they do, we couldn't operate because no one in our organization is paid. We're all volunteers putting in tons of time. And we travel all over the place. And so it's not that hard to come up with 1,000 hours, really. And so we give out scholarships. And I love that part of it.
Thank you for that one.
And Michael,
do that.
And Michael, you're doing it again now at this film festival. Are there not about 4 or 5 scholarships to be awarded, both from the Jermaine Floyd Scholarship Fund and also the Thomas Kail Scholarship? Is that correct?
Every year we have the Thomas Kail Scholarship.
Okay.
Tom Kail was a teacher that both Daniel and I.
Yes, we did. That's right.
He made a huge difference in my life. I was a shy country kid, and he really helped to turn me around. Just a tremendous man, and he's been involved with what we've been doing since this whole thing started. And we had an award in his name, the Thomas L. Kail Award, that we give. And he said, well, I want to turn that into a scholarship as well. So that's wonderful.
Michael, it's tremendous, everything that's going on, and of course this is the weekend for it. And I think the question many people want to know is, how do people get involved? How do they get involved in this tremendous thing? As you said, from preschoolers all the way up to the elderly like me.
98 years old.
Yeah.
Right. Almost as old as Daniel and I.
Yeah.
We're not quite that old.
How do people get involved?
Well, the film festival is really a great way to do it because you get to see what we do, for one. And two, we've got the sign-up sheets, and we call them a talent form, and people put name, address, phone number on it, and that's how we get people involved. We start with that. We also have a sign-up for different movies, probably half a dozen different movies we're going to be shooting in 2012. They can read the description, they can sign up and see if they'd like to be interested in that. and then we get the ball rolling. So it's really simple, pretty painless.
Michael, what about people who are unable to attend this weekend? They're on spring break and whatever. How can they get involved after this? By calling, website, phone number?
Yeah, we have, we operate all year round. The only day we take off is Christmas. But we have a website, windsongpictures.com, and you can find a lot of information about us on windsongpictures.com. Our phone number, our email is in there. You can contact us. We're doing things day after day after day, and we're always looking for good technical people. If you don't know much about it, but you want to learn, we'll teach you.
Thank you so much for all you've been doing for the past 37
Well,
years.
thank you, gentlemen. It's good talking to you. I'm going to have to scoot because I've got some students about ready to come in the door here.
That's right. Say hi to all the students there for us too. And again, thank you for all you've
for
done.
what you've been doing to help us out. It's great.
Thank you,
Gracias.
Michael.
Muchas gracias.
And just so
Very good. We'll see you at the festival.
there you will.
See you
Thank
mañana.
you, Michael.
Okay, thank you so
Mañana.
much again. Bye-bye.
And just so
All right.
listeners know, Michael is a teacher and has been for many years, and he is at Fort Wayne Southside High School as an English teacher and needs to go back to class.
Muchas gracias. Terminamos este segmento ahorita de qué pasa aquí con Daniel Yell y su servidor Fernando Zapari. Regresamos en unos minutitos. Muchas gracias por su atención.
¿Qué pasa? Bienvenido. Welcome again to News and Views on RadioLatinoTV.com. Because of our special guest program, which was interesting and challenging for us all, the Film Festival IPFW, the 13th International Film Festival, and featuring many good films, we're really running out of time. So what we're going to do now is thank our sponsor, John Rogers, 444 East Main Street, Fort Wayne, Indiana, for being our sponsor, and pointing out his phone number is, in English, 426-0674, and in Espanol, 704-0682. We appreciate John Rogers' sponsorship, and if you need an attorney on any legal issues, John Rogers is the place to go. Free consultation, and you go from there. Okay, what we're going to do now, there are so many topics, many topics, but I'd like to go over the schedule for the upcoming schedule, beginning with, you already know about the Film Festival IPFW. This is also the weekend, Thursday through Sunday. Consulado Mobile de Mexico is at St. Patrick's Catholic Church in Fort Wayne, Indiana, from 9 o'clock until 4 o'clock now on Friday and Saturday, and Sunday, I believe, until 3. And tomorrow, the Walk Across America begins at 1 o'clock in San Francisco, California, for the DREAM Act. It begins at 1 o'clock at the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge, and will continue on until they get to the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. Yesterday was International Women's Day, and we are going to, on Monday, talk about some women's health issues and other issues as they relate to the campaign for president. We do not have enough time today to do so. This week there's another walk. It's in Alabama. It's going from Selma to Montgomery. One of the leaders of the walk is Reverend Al Sharpton, and it's an anniversary event of the Civil Rights Act being passed. And it's for immigration laws. It's for pro-immigration reform laws that make sense. That's happening as we speak. It's been going on now for 3 or 4 days, and that walk will conclude pretty soon. So we will also be talking a little bit about that. Too much to talk about, really. So what we will do is wish everyone a good, happy weekend. Don't forget our sponsor, John Rogers. Tim Zink and Raul are here today, our engineer, and Tim Zink has been here with us on News and Views now, and I'm not even giving him a chance to say anything, so maybe I should do it right now real quickly.
How you doing, everybody?
I'm sorry, Tim. But
That's fine.
We're limited by time and so on. Okay, so we're looking forward to talking to you on Monday, at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we will review the weekend, talk about the presidential election, and whatever topics, and if you're interested in suggesting them, please go to Facebook, do search, put in News and Views with Daniel Yale. It'll pop up right away. Suggest topics, and we'll do them. Thank you, Raul. Have a safe weekend to all.